Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Vanessa here from Brio Integrative Health in Richmond, BC. Nice to see you all. It's been a little while since I last did a Facebook Live. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. And the topic that we'll be going over is immune system benefits of liver detoxification. Now, when we think of the immune system, we'll think of things like the respiratory tract and the lungs, but seldom do we ever tie the liver into it. And that's what I want to highlight today, the connection between immune function and digestive health. So, lately I've been getting a lot of patient questions about, what are things I can do to boost my immune system? And it often um, gets to a point where we're talking about different supplements, so different um, minerals or vitamins, nutritional support or herbal support for immune system. And I just wanted to say that there is a continuum between nutritional deficiencies, so low levels of certain minerals and vitamins, causing disease susceptibility or illness on one hand, as well as, on the other hand, a optimized amount of immune enhancing nutrients that can support overall function. So you never want to have too little because that in itself could cause disease and dysfunction. And there's also an optimal amount. Now, a lot of our guidelines when it comes to nutrition come from Health Canada, and they kind of box everyone into kind of a narrow field of this recommended daily allowance. Given there are differences for men, women, and children generally, but it's still a very general value. And often what's recommended might not be sufficient for someone who's immune challenged or unwell. Because when we get sick, our available reserves of our stored nutrients, things like fat soluble vitamins and certain minerals, get depleted way faster than they would normally in a healthy body. And as mentioned earlier, nutritional deficiencies can leave one susceptible to illness. So while you may have adequate amounts in your diet during regular circumstances, when you get sick or have a low level of stress or illness for an extended time, but it might not be something that requires you to take time off work, that could still lead to an increased requirement. And another thing is that a stimulated or overstimulated immune system, when it's always active, produces free oxygen radicals. I did a separate talk on this on the antioxidants, my three favorite, which happen to be melatonin, vitamin C, and glutathione for those who missed that, was really highlighting that issue of the byproducts that are created by our bodies naturally, but also by our immune system when we're mounting an immune defense strategy. So, free radicals or reactive oxygen species is an ongoing thing by living, breathing being, but in excess they can cause harm, which is why it's beneficial to have some ongoing antioxidant support. This could look like just increasing your intake of fruits and vegetables, all those brightly colored produce, as well as things. Actually, maybe I'll ask you, what are some known vitamins or minerals that can support immune health? Feel free to just jump in and type in the comment box. So for those of you who thought of something like vitamin C, selenium, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin E, those are antioxidants. Most of our general immune support happens to be antioxidants. Vitamin D, wonderful. And these all happen to be fat soluble vitamins, except for vitamin E, sorry. And so we do have the capacity to retain a certain level, but when we get sick, they get depleted, and so we need to top these things up. So all of these antioxidants help fight free radical damage, and they also help support our body's innate ability to create a very powerful antioxidant compound called glutathione. It's up there with melatonin in terms of all the awesome things that it can do. However, I do want to caution, as I'm increasingly hearing about people doing harm from overconsumption of immune supporting nutrients and herbs due to a fear of getting sick these days, is that when we continually take large doses of these antioxidants, it can potentially shut down our body's own production of glutathione, which is more potent than all of the supplements we could take to boost our immune support. So always follow your doctor's directions, or if you're picking up something over the counter, don't take more than what's recommended. We just want to be nurturing what our body's immune system is already doing. When we get sick, say with a seasonal cold or flu, how do we feel? And again, feel free to join in and just let me know, what are some symptoms of general illness, say like a cold or flu? So feeling tired, lethargic, apathetic, not really having great concern for things that are going on, being easily exhausted, having no stamina to work, let alone work out, achy muscles and joints. And so this happens because all of our metabolic energy reserves are called into action, mobilized to fight the infection. We talk about metabolism a lot, and I just want to clarify what this is referring to. Metabolism refers to all the chemical reactions that take place inside our bodies that build or break down molecules in the body in order to eliminate waste and produce energy. Some of us happen to be fast metabolizers, while others are slow metabolizers. And often we are just born this way. And it can also be specific to what is being metabolized, be it coffee, alcohol, opioids. So you may have noticed that how you respond to pain medications or drinks like coffee and alcohol might be different than your partner or your friends when you're out. And this has to do with our gene variation. So those who have the fast variant of caffeine can process it up to 4 times as quickly as those with the slow gene variant. So this isn't something you can do much about. But these things like caffeine and alcohol also happen to speed up phase 1 of liver detoxification. If you don't feel the effects of caffeine long after you've had it, You could be genetically one of these fast metabolizers, or your phase one of liver detoxification could be really ramped up and overstimulated. And that's quite easy to do because most things that aren't the best for us happen to speed up phase one. These are things like toxicants, so environmental chemicals and things that don't naturally occur inside our bodies, things like dioxins, paint fumes, agricultural chemicals, along with even medications, things like birth control pills, sleeping pills, cortisone or steroids that we can take for reducing inflammation. When phase one is active, it causes oxidation and free radical production. The point of it is to break down harmful toxins into more manageable metabolites. And that's why it's important to have phase two roughly the same speed as phase one so it can keep up with the drainage of toxins that are coming its way. So the nutrients and antioxidants that are required for liver detoxification happen to be much of the same ones that are needed for optimal immune health. So the more ways that our nutritional reserves are chopped up into different functions, the less each system has to work with. And you can be in a situation where your cellular reserves are already very low. And things like poor diet, so about how much you're taking in of nutritional building blocks, stress and overexertion, so whether that's over-exercising or burning the candle at both ends, so increasing the demand for these nutritional building blocks, inadequate sleep, which reduces recovery and causes strain on everything. And lastly, trying to keep up with daily detoxification. The role of metabolic detoxification and the liver are often underappreciated when it comes to immune health. And I'm hoping by the end of this talk that you'll be on the same page with me in seeing that liver health or happy liver equals a happy immune system. So having an empty tank of nutritional and antioxidant stores can be from increased detoxification needs because there's overlap in what they both use. When we allow the liver to let up by not burning through so many of these nutrients to keep our bodies clean, it allows more leftover capacity for the rest of our gastrointestinal system, as well as those immune functions that we really want to be working hard right now. Further slow and incomplete detoxification can damage cells and cause things like gastrointestinal irritation that can worsen existing immune-related responses. And the slow or incomplete detoxification can also deplete those nutrient reserves that we need for immune health. And lastly, it leaves us vulnerable when we don't have these nutritional reserves to fight additional immune issues that can come our way. So anyone who's listening out there that does have immune compromise or say an autoimmune condition, someone who gets sick often, for you, regular liver or metabolic detoxification program or protocol can be even more valuable than the average person. So rather than the general recommendation of doing a detox program once a year, you might fall into the camp of someone who needs it twice a year, or rather than a short program like a week or 10 days, you would benefit from doing a slower detox over a longer period, say a month. The practice of detoxification naturally unkinks your immune system by removing all the allergenic and inflammatory foods that are slowing things down, as well as toxins from your diet. So that's one controllable factor. The ones in your environment, in the air or water, are less within our means to influence. And when you're doing a detoxification program, it's not only eating better, but also often taking some targeted nutritional support that provides all the necessary building blocks to support the various phases of liver detoxification while boosting things like glutathione and supplying antioxidants to fight that free radical damage. So this allows us to get the job of detoxification done more cleanly so that you don't have a negative detox reaction and flare up of existing symptoms. The impact that toxins have in our body has to do with a couple of things. So there's your acute or short-term exposure. So currently we're all exposed to poor air quality, a lot of smog from the wildfires along the west coast, south of the border. I've been checking the air quality reports globally, and Vancouver's been on the top of the list for the last week, along with various cities in the US. So what you're currently exposed to influences how well you can detox, but also historically what your cumulative long-term exposure has been. Because if you can't get rid of the toxins, if your body can't do its regular upkeep, then it just slowly gets less and less efficient. And I've also mentioned then the detoxification capacity. So on one hand, you have your exposure, and the other hand, you have your capacity. So that's influenced by genetics, things like being a fast or slow metabolizer of things, also our dietary and lifestyle choices. There are literally hundreds of different enzymes involved in the various detox pathways. And there's different gene variants. I already mentioned the one for caffeine that allow you to more or less efficiently convert and remove the toxic byproducts when your body breaks things down. And if you want more insight into the genetic side, you might consider doing something like a 23andMe kit, which shows the polymorphisms or the gene variants, or something like an organic oats test, which you can, sorry, not an organic oats, that's something that we're eating. Organic acids test. It happens to form the acronym OAT. And that measures the byproducts of metabolism through a urine test. So 23andMe uses saliva, and the organic acids measures the urine metabolites and forms a biochemical profile to show you how well your body is obtaining, so receiving on the inside and utilizing the nutrients themselves. And so this goes beyond what you can get usually in a conventional doctor's office, which measures serum concentration, so what's in your blood currently, which is a very rough snapshot and doesn't often reflect the bioactive amount or stored levels, which actually affect your day-to-day experience. So in closing this up, and please ask any questions if you have them, most of the chronic effects of high toxin exposure are really subtle. They deplete our metabolic reserves, which we need for immune function. They reduce our antioxidant capacity, the ability to neutralize free radicals and reactive oxygen species. They lower our mitochondrial efficiency. I haven't talked about this too much, but you can find more about it in my antioxidant talk. The mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell, and they convert our food energy into energy to fuel all the processes, all the metabolic processes required for living. But toxins can also do things like create microflora imbalances. Um, we know now how important gut health is to immune health. And further, these toxins can increase intestinal permeability and lead to things like leaky gut syndrome, which causes overreaction of our immune system to things that are normally they shouldn't be harmful to us, certain foods. Sensitivities are usually a result of the body's inability to properly digest. That can be an enzyme deficiency, to metabolize or break down, or once it's broken down, to detoxify and get rid of the waste byproducts of it. So that's my spiel in how your gastrointestinal health, specifically the ability of your liver to detoxify, can be contributing to poor or better immune outcomes. Thanks for joining me for this talk, and I will catch up with you next time, a week from now on Wednesday. Bye.